Okay, Spencer, you started with More Media early this summer on the beat of human rights and the economic side of human rights in an international perspective. You've been covering a lot. You've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of research. What would you like to start with? Were there parts of the world you learned more about?
My favorite parts of the world continue to be looking into the Middle East. That's an issue area that I focus in on my own studies. So being able to report on issues, specifically, ongoing issues in Afghanistan and Syria, was really exciting because it was a different writing style that I got to incorporate into existing work that I've done and continue to address the issues in those geography areas.
I You did do a lot on Syria and Afghanistan, and one of your areas of interest is people in crisis. So this summer it sure gave you that opportunity. Unfortunately for all the people in crisis, but it's been we've working with you has been great for me and for More Media, and to get deeper into these issues. So that's been really good. What about, I know you come from an academic background, you're going back into that academic world. What skills do you think you're going to bring with you? Was there something different about writing for news that honed in on certain facts, or what do you think you'll bring back with you? Did you head back to
Yeah.
your PhD?
Yeah. So I think one of the skills that I've acquired is knowing how to look at resources and look at them, really fast, but also obtain, accurate and important information to be able to report on that. Like I said, when I was talking to you, at the beginning, with research and academia, you spend months, years, developing work. And with reporting, it's quick pace. It's always, try to get the information out. And so just learning how to work in a faster paced environment is definitely a skill that I'm excited to bring back, just in my classwork, to be able to do my assignments with a different type of skill set that I didn't have before, and I think will be helpful when completing my coursework.
Well, I really noticed your time management skills are so excellent, and you have been able to do an awful lot of work in short periods of time. You've had short periods of time that you work with me throughout the day because you have your other job as well. So that's been impressive. I think with the news side, it's like identifying. It's a skill to identify what what the relevant information is today or this week or in the here and now, which is it's just different than a more analytical point of view. But I think having both of those skills is very useful to writing, regardless of what type of writing you pursue. Um, let's turn to some of the other areas that you've covered. You helped me with putting together a chart for the looking back at the Arab Spring countries, because I want to do a writing contest on the Arab Spring countries of why they had all the protests and revolutions. They pretty much failed to produce results for these countries, except for Tunisia, which you looked into more recently this summer, the backsliding of democracy. Um, did you find that research interesting, looking back at the Arab Spring from 10 years ago?
Yeah, research is what I do. It's what I enjoy doing. It's something that I hope my career is, centered on for the rest of my life. So just being able to develop something like that for future reference was really exciting, knowing that you can use it, and continually add to it and adapt it to what's necessary. So I really enjoyed, working on that, working on the timelines with More Media, just knowing that they do have a significant impact on a reader's ability to see a progression of a country or movement.
It really helps comprehend a difficult topic in a faster way. And I love the you put together on the Arab Spring in particular, as well as your many timelines that you've produced. And then you did a special report on Belarus, the last dictatorship in Europe. I found that very interesting. I learned a lot. I know you learned a lot. You did an in-depth interview with somebody from Freedom House, and that gave you a sense of the conflict between East-West and the pool of East-West in Central Europe. Did you thoughts on that, on political prisoners in Belarus, or?
So working on that story and the stories that led up to it and following it, Belarus is not a country that I've focused a lot on in my studies, and so just being able to take what happened and learn from it, and also learn from the Freedom House expert that I spoke to, was really intriguing, and hearing it directly from an expert in that field was also really great, knowing that she was, giving me the ability to learn directly from someone who has studied this area and able to explain what's happening in such a chaotic mess of a situation over there.
I love the idea of talking to people in the field, because sometimes you can as a scholar, you can read and read and read and read, but then when you connect with people and you talk with people who are experts, you can get an idea of things much faster and deeper, and I feel like you definitely got that from that experience, and it's an excellent article. And then you worked on Nicaragua as well, which is closer to home, being United States. You worked on the political repression in Nicaragua ahead of the November elections. I find it interesting because Central America is so interesting, the issues that those countries deal with, and I enjoyed reading those stories as well. Or do you think you'll continue to follow that, especially as it gets closer to the election and the political situation there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think following situations like such should be a motivation of everyone's day-to-day tasks. I think having a comprehensive understanding of what's happening in the world should be what everyone wants. So I know, at least myself, I'm going to continue to monitor that, and being in political science myself, I'm sure my classes will also hone in on what's happening over there as well as we get closer.
Well, I would love to stay in touch with you, and I would love. I enjoy working with the younger generation, especially people like yourself who are interested in the world. And one thing I'm trying to do is tap into that curiosity and find ways to reach people, because so many people just. I've talked to people, they just want to tune out the world, and that's just not the way to resolve anything. Like, if we want to get solutions, we've got to be knowledgeable, and we've got to be engaged and understand the way the world works. And so I welcome your ideas and your colleagues' ideas. So I appreciate your involvement, and maybe we can find ways to do it in more positive ways, and empowerment. I know you have an article coming out today about the heroes of the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. So I look forward to reading that. And I wish you all the best in your PhD studies. Can you say a word or two on where you're going from here? Starting this week, you're gonna
go. Yep. So I'm returning to my undergrad alma mater, so taking a 2-year hiatus and going to a different university for my master's, but returning back to University of Connecticut with a staff and faculty that I know very well and have kept in touch with. And while I'm there, I'm working on my doctorate in political science, and I'm going to be focusing on international relations and comparative politics, and hopefully working closely with the Human Rights Institute on campus.
It sounds incredible, and I know you'll be successful and you've got a bright future ahead of you. And thank you so much for your time this summer. And it's been quite a summer to watch, and we worked, and it's all been productive. So I'm going to sign off here, and we'll stay on the line now. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.